By the way, we went out there, drove up there to the Phase 2. Road is paved now. I encourage you to go look at it. It's going to be spectacular. Next item is approval of amended TDOT contract for Watt Road Old Stage Road improvements.
This project has been in development for a few years now. This is the extension of Watt Road from behind the Isarium, where it ends now, up to Old Stage Road, and the improvements of Old Stage Road from Johnson's Corner to the western town limits. We have a TDOT contract in place, but back last year we sought to improve the funding mix to allow for a reimbursement of right-of-way costs, which we had estimated at approximately $400,000. This reflects that change which was made through the TPO, as well as a few other changes that we requested from TDOT that they've agreed to. So staff highly recommends approval of this contract. Three of the changes that we're seeing, of course, the reimbursement in right-of-way costs. TDOT has agreed to coordinate utility adjustments, which, since some of the utilities are not, in fact, on the right-of-way, they will be picking up some of the cost, approximately $50,000, $60,000, and TDOT has agreed to manage this project for us. With that agreement, we will not have to hire a CEI consultant, so we're going to see some pretty substantial savings to the town. It's hard to estimate exactly how much savings we're going to see, but I would throw out a number in the neighborhood of $500,000 to $600,000 with this. Now, our current CIP reflects $320,000 of this savings, and the additional savings beyond that would probably show up in fiscal years 2012 and 2013. But staff recommends for approval of this contract.
Daryl, my one question isn't related directly to this change. It's just that in looking at the contract again and realizing that it seems like the engineering work on this project's been around forever, I noticed that they assign a completion date of on or before December 31st, 2015. I'm assuming this is going to take place a lot sooner than that. Do you think that is the case?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that is the case. Why that year was put in there, I'm not certain, but they wanted to give us plenty of time to get it, to make sure it's done.
Plenty of time, don't you?
At this point, we're ready to begin the right-of-way process, which would probably take about a year and a half.
Right.
And we will be managing that. At that point, it will be, once we can certify the right-of-way, TDOT will take over the construction.
Which right-of-way is part of this? Is there a
Pardon
lot?
me?
How much right-of-way do we have to acquire? Is it a whole lot?
I wish you hadn't asked that question.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I want to say there are probably 25 tracts out there that
20.
we will be dealing with.
You're kidding, that many?
There's quite a few tracts, but it's just a thin strip on each one.
We own the main track, though, that goes from the Isarium up to Old Stage Road.
That's correct, but as that was platted, or as that was described when we purchased that right-of-way, it's not a perfect reflection of what we need, the actual alignment. That was based on a preliminary alignment, and we may be buying a little bit more on one side or the other.
And when did you say you would start acquiring right-of-way?
At this point, we have completed right-of-way plans, and I suspect once this is approved and TDOT gets going on it, once we can show them that we are in fact ready to start purchase of right-of-way, we'll begin, I would say, in the next 2 to 3 months.
Anyone have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is approval of design for Town of Farragut entrance signs.
Thank you, Mayor. This item regarding the entrance signs into town was a work program item for the staff this year. This really is going to be trying to delineate the town's boundary limits as you enter town, as you exit town. And really it goes to a larger goal of branding the town, what we're trying to focus on for us in our overall scheme of things. These entryway signs would go at various locations. 5 have been identified so far that are the highest traveled in town. One at Kingston Pike and Lovell Road, Kingston Pike and Dixie Lee Junction, Campbell Station Road, south of I-40, Parkside Drive and Turkey Creek, and driving south on Watt Road as you enter town. We contracted with an illustrator to provide 3 separate concepts for the board to consider. We have taken these concepts to various committees within the town. I'd like to show you each concept now. Concept number 1 takes a look at basically what our current park signage looks like now. It's just half the size, so it could fit within our right-of-way. Very, very similar with the stacked stone. And the one thing I want to mention here is that the letters and the wording on the signs, this is just for illustrative purposes only. This is going to be an item that you're just going to be selecting tonight the actual physical layout of the sign, not the actual words that are going to go on the sign. Concept number 2 is more of a nautical theme. This has, obviously, you can see an anchor involved, different type of signage, again, the stacked stone at the bottom. And concept number 3, if you'd really focus on the bottom right picture, the other ones, although very similar, have a light on top. Lights on top of those are against our current sign ordinance, so we'd like to just put the cap on it that's at the bottom right picture. Just highlight that for the board. That bottom right is a colonial style picture, or excuse me, colonial style sign, and it has some. If you look at the column, it actually has some nautical theme to it with a ship's porthole there that could be lighted if we decided to do that. We have taken all 3 of these concepts to various committees, as I mentioned before. The Economic Development Committee recommended by a 6-3 vote for concept number 2, which was the nautical sign with the anchor attached that you see before you now. We also went to the Beautification Committee, and the Beautification Committee was split down the middle, 3-3, between this concept, concept 2, and concept 3 with the more colonial-looking sign. And finally, we also went to the Visual Resources Review Board, and they unanimously chose concept number 3 as the sign that they wanted to recommend to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Now, obviously, these are all recommendations. Ultimately, the decision is yours as the board to select which sign you'd like. And what we'd like to do is have the board approve a concept, so that way the staff can go ahead and start bidding out and getting some quotes together on this structure, and then come back to the board at a workshop here soon and talk about the actual verbiage that needs to go on each sign. And I'll be happy to try to answer any questions for you.
Let me say this right off the bat. I am opposed to the one with the anchor, and I'll tell you why. Number 1, the anchor will be huge. It'll probably weigh 1,000 pounds. It will increase the cost of construction. And put that picture of it up again. I think it invites vandalism, and it represents a liability. Those You can point to the little sharp edges on the end of the anchor. I think it would be a mistake. Another thing is we are probably going to have to adjust the size of whatever concept we choose because of the differing amounts of right-of-way that we have in different areas. So some may have to be squeezed in more and some not so much. And this one is difficult to squeeze. So that's my 2 cents.
Bill, for any kind of ballpark cost of the three options, is one perceived to be more expensive, less expensive, or do we just really not know at this stage?
No, sir, we don't know at this stage. I wish I could give you an idea. We have $50,000 in the budget this year to do as many signs as we can. So obviously, if we need to do some of the work, I think some of our public works crew could do some of the block that may need to happen, and then have a professional stone crew come in, and then also the signage done. We may be able to cut some costs that way.
Expenses with any of these, is there any advantage in one design over another, or again, do we not know that?
I would hope that the maintenance would be very minimal on these signage. The only thing that may be some maintenance is the landscaping that we hope to do around each one. But the signs itself hopefully would not be much maintenance.
Step 1 looks more like what we already have at the park and library, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's just half of the sign. Those signs out there, if you took and actually mirrored that the other way, that has a U shape to it. The park signs, they're about 14 feet wide. This sign that you see before you would be roughly 6 to 7 feet wide to be able to fit within the right-of-ways. And all of these signs would be no more than 6 feet high.
Be in favor of concept 1.
But I do like concept 3 because it just looks like it looks like the look that I think we want to be known for in the town eventually, because it looks colonial, and I think that's what we're aiming to accomplish over the years. Yeah.
Again, about the light in the porthole, will that be okay with our ordinances? Is that going to require anything special, or is it just something that we can accommodate with the plan in place?
I think that the light on top is an issue, but the light within the column should not be an issue. It'd be a low light type of situation anyway, coming out of that. If you look at the concept that's right above that as well, it's a little bit smaller, shorter. We could take the light off of the top of that and incorporate that in areas that we did not have as much right-of-way. If we needed to squeeze it in a little bit, we could incorporate that as well.
David, is there a notion of these being illuminated at night?
I would hope so, that we would have some illumination on so you could see them as you drove through at night. So electricity would be out there no matter what, so it's just a matter of whether or not we could actually light inside that column.